Lisa Denae Live starts now, only on Stunner Radio, the heart and soul of the culture.
This show was sponsored in part by Flat Fee Tax Prep and Services, offering quality tax preparation, serving clients nationwide. For more information, visit www.flatfeecreditandtax.com. And don't forget to mention Stunner Radio sent you.
Hey, everybody. It's your girl, Lisa Denae, and it is Friday. So, you know, that means it's Lisa Denae Day. So this is coming into your Queendom part 3, and I am super excited to have the queen that I have with us tonight, the national recording artist by the name of IMANI. And let me just tell you guys something. If you are not familiar, baby, get into it. It's going to change your entire life. I promise you. So I want to thank everyone for the continued birthday wishes. Of course, my birthday been over, but you know, I keep celebrating. So y'all keep saying happy birthday. So anyway, guys, I'm super excited. Like I said, hey, happy Friday to the Hope Coach. Hey. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm super excited, you guys, for this guest. We have had some wonderful and amazing guests throughout this series coming into your Queendom. Let me just tell you, yes, Queen, we'll be celebrating all month. Let me just tell you something about queens and coming into your queendom. There is something special to see a woman finally accept her queendom and get on that throne and rule and reign and shine. And I wanted to acknowledge these queens that I have been seeing blooming and blossoming. And this young lady right here, let me tell you something. I can't even think about her without getting chills. She is so amazing. So I want to introduce you guys to some, and just showcase with others, none other than IMANI.
Father, in Jesus' name, Lord, we come to you because you are our only and our greatest and our best help. You are our helper in the time of need.
National recording artist IMANI is a genre-bending artist who can't be defined by mere words or put in a box. Her style is a fusion of R&B, lo-fi, jazz, and electronic. Her love for Southern hip-hop influences her sound with heavy bass and robust drums. IMANI's hypnotizing vocal style ranges from soft and angelic to gritty and diabolical. Her lively stage presence, which includes vignettes of inspiration, comes from being raised in a small Southern church. On her upcoming album, The 11th Hour, IMANI travels to the future with her grandmother as her spirit guide, where she explores love, loss, and heartbreak. IMANI, which means belief or faith, is more than a name for this spirit-filled artist. It is who she is. She believes in her gift, her spirit, and her power, and it shows. I am thrilled and excited to welcome to Lisa Denae Live, the one and only IMANI.
Hey, IMANI!
Hello. Wow.
I am so excited to have you here.
I'm excited to be here. That was the craziest. That was like the best intro of all time.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
That was an amazing intro. I appreciate all the time and care and detail that you put into that intro. That was insane. Like, well, I was like tearing up. I was like, oh, God.
You can tell when a person's heart is in something, because my love for you and what you do is so real. Like, I'm just telling you. Sometimes I spend weeks on intros because I'm struggling. Trying to make it sound good or trying to make it look good. But yours was just easy because, you know, it just flowed. Thank you so much, Hope Coach. She said, what an amazing introduction. It is the least I could do for such a queen. So Imani, thank you so much for being on the show. Like I'm just fangirling right now, really trying to get my thoughts together.
But
But let me
I have to start by saying this. Oh God. Um, One, I didn't know this was a third episode, which is good because threes are very important to me. Father, Son, Holy Ghost. I have it's me and my two brothers, and then I have on my mom's side my three cousins. Threes, I had three aunts. Like threes have always just been like this reoccurring thing in my life that
wow.
I really have clung to like my whole entire life. But I wanted to say, speaking of like queendoms and things like that, I have always been surrounded by powerful women. I've always been surrounded by loving women. And I remember, oh God,
That's all right. Take your time.
I'm just going to be complete. When I first met you, I was going through so much.
Oh
I was
wow.
going through a lot. I broke up with my ex for the millionth time. I just moved to Houston. I'd probably been in Houston for maybe a couple of days, I think, or a week or something. It wasn't that long that I had been there when I met you. And I just remember like you just opened yourself to me and you were loving and you were caring and you were giving and you uplifted me. And as a woman to like be going through what I was going through at the time, and there was so much going on with my family life at that time, which we'll get into because it's all tied into all it is too. But I needed the love that you gave me,
Wow.
and you cannot become a queen without the love and help and the guidance of other queens. So I just wanted to say thank you for that because
Oh
that's
wow.
huge. And I don't know, maybe I have, maybe I haven't, but I just have to let you know that.
I
that
mean, I'm blown away because I didn't even know. Like I didn't know any of that. I didn't know. I just knew that you were beautiful. You had this soulful, sultry voice, and you were young, and I felt your spirit. And I was like, this young lady is the truth. I can recognize the truth when I see it. I can recognize a genuine article. And being a genuine article myself, I know we don't have an easy road. We have a hard road.
yeah.
People a lot of times look at the finished product or look at us when we're a work in progress and have no idea the obstacles, the midnights, the
Whew.
struggles
Right.
that we have internally and externally. So when I meet someone with that genuine spirit, that spirit that's telling me this person is a star, this is God's star, like this is from God right here. I do everything I can to be a light because I know that the road is hard.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is, you know.
Yeah.
Yes, Hope Coach. She said,
Yes, real recognize real.
right, that's right. And she says, queens elevate other queens. For me, when I was young, people would see that light on me, but they would be mean to me. They
Yeah.
wouldn't be nice. It would
Yeah.
cause them to be mean. It would cause them to belittle me or berate me or try to make me pull down my light or feel
Yeah.
less than. So I know what that feels like. So I've always gone out my way to do the opposite. So I'm glad. I'm glad that it happened for you because I wasn't really trying. I just was being my normal self. So that
I
means a
know.
lot.
I know. And that's what makes it so pure and makes it so beautiful because that's just who you are.
So when I met you, you were singing. You was a singer, and I heard the voice and I heard the sultry, but I did not know what I did had no idea, honey. Everything that you are. It seems like when you moved to New York, it just came out. So what was that about? What was that about?
It was the journey. It was you know what I think it was, to be honest, like, and because with maybe is about a very hectic time in my life. Maybe took place, I would say, probably 9 months after I met you in terms of what I was going through
Oh
that
wow.
made me create that song. And
Wow.
so when I met you, like I said, I was going through all this stuff with this breakup, and I was having family issues too. We found out that my grandmother was diagnosed with cancer again. Like the cancer ended up coming back, and
Oh,
so there was just, how it is
yeah.
when the patriarch gets sick. You know how that goes, and
Yeah.
and people trying to be in control, and then the family starts breaking up, and it gets weird and it gets crazy, because the truth of the matter is none of us know how to deal with the fact that we're losing this person. So
Right.
we start doing weird things, because we don't know how to express that. And so that happened. I would say that was, well, I lost one of my grandmothers in October of 2017.
Mm-hmm.
And then I ended up moving to New York November 2017. And then I lost my grandmother that raised me December 2017.
Oh, wow.
Then in June 2018, I lost my aunt. So all my matriarchs I lost in a 9 month time period.
Oh,
And
wow.
it's like I had to step up and be a woman. It was no more depending on my grandmother's prayers, depending on my aunt's prayers, depending on my aunt's advice. It was whatever they gave me was all I had left. And I
Wow.
had to do with what I had, with what they had been giving me all this time. And it's
Yeah.
like, it was, again, I was like, I've always been surrounded by very powerful women. Always. Always. Like spiritually powerful women have always been surrounded by women like that. And it took for me, I feel like the last few years for me to actually recognize that that is something that I guess I just been so used to it, then that I never thought about it, but that has been my whole life. And I think just being surrounded by that, and all those women have always just imparted things into me. That's the way it's always been.
Wow.
So I feel like me being able to take all that in, and just like from my youth, just being imparted all this understanding and knowledge and spiritual, like I have a certain, I would say, a spiritual knowing, I guess you could say. I don't really know how to
Yes.
explain that, but
Absolutely.
yeah. And so that was all because of the women that I've been around. But when I lost them, and I also had lost my voice teacher, who was very important and impactful in my life
Oh, wow.
as a singer and as an artist and as a spiritual being that is operate. When you're a singer, you have to operate in a certain realm. You can go on stage and make it about yourself if you want, but when you come into your queendom, you understand it's not about you anymore.
Yes.
Yeah. And
Yes.
that's the game. And that's what happened. Like it was just losing all those women, having to really tune in with them while they're in another realm and understand what I was here to do and what I was called to do. And I had to step into that because now I'm the aunt, you know,
Yes.
and now I'm the person that has to be given advice. And now I'm the person that's being a supportive kind of matriarch type figure, even though I'm still young, because our matriarchs, most of them are gone. And so
Yes.
that's how I came into my queendom in short, but that was in the
Wow. Wow. But it usually happens through pain. And when people want to elevate and people want to excel, they don't understand. It usually happens through pain. It don't happen through good times. You get that deep knowing, like you said, and that deep connection with your own spirit and with the spirit of God through pain.
Yes.
And so I can relate to that. I love how you describe that knowing, because that's what I thought about you, especially after watching that song resonates with me in so many ways. I've always been a very spiritual person, even as a child, but I didn't know where it came from because it didn't really come from church. I already had it. It was
Mm,
just a knowing. I knew, but I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? I knew, but
yes.
I didn't know. So,
Hmm.
so there's a line in maybe that really resonates with me. And so, how did you come about writing that song?
So with maybe, I remember at that time I was living in Flatbush and I was with my ex that I had gotten back with, and we were engaged at the time. And I had this song that I wrote, because he told me something like, oh, loving you is not easy. He told me that, and I went and wrote this song about that. And then I said this a couple of times in interviews, but my friend texted me, one of my best friends had texted me that she had lupus. And I was like, what is, first of all, what is lupus? Second of all, I just lost 3 people back to back, and it was cancer. So it was just kind of like, I'm like, I can't, the diseases in my family members, my loved ones, it just made me scared. So I just went in the room, because what I usually do when I'm stressed out is I sit at the piano or the keyboard and I just start playing. So I already had the chord progressions for the Loving You Ain't Easy song. And I just started playing that because I just needed to play something. And then from there, I just started playing. And then the chord progression was the same, but the way I was playing it was different. The energy that I put into it was different. The rhythm was a little bit different. And I just started singing and like kind of freestyling. And that's how the song came to be. And I went back and I listened to the song and I filled in some of the mumbo jumbo that I couldn't understand what I was trying to say at that time, or I was just kind of, because I've heard a lot of artists do this. They'll freestyle and sometimes they'll have words, sometimes it'll just be melody, and then they'll go back and write the words in. So the majority of maybe was freestyle. And then I went back and filled in the blanks with everything else.
Okay.
And, I have the voice note on my phone still from that day. And that's how I end up writing that song. Yeah.
Well, I can relate to that because I've written some songs that way. But the funny thing is, I haven't released them because they're too honest. You know what I'm saying? When you're freestyling, you're not editing.
Nope.
So you're saying what's really on your heart and what you really feel. And for me, some of that I ain't ready to share yet. So I admire your courage and your bravery because it helped me. Just listening to that, it because a lot of times when you're spiritual, you do question. You question God. You question what's going on. Are you really there? What's happening? Show me your face. What's going on? You know what I'm saying? But that doesn't mean it doesn't make you any less spiritual. I think in fact it makes you more spiritual because you know that there's a presence because you're having a conversation with it.
Right. You're not just submitting to it and being like, oh, well, a lot of people say, don't question God, da 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 da. And so I couldn't heal because, if I can't question and ask what's going on, 3 of my family members died in 9 months. I got some questions.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I have some questions. I'm upset. I am mad. Where are you? Where have you been? Why aren't my prayers working? And what else do I need to do for things to start to go correctly? Because right now everything is in shambles. And so I'm glad that you picked up on that because I think some people have interpreted that song a little bit not quite the way it was meant. So I'm glad that you interpreted the way that it was meant to be interpreted, which is this is a conversation with me and God.
Yeah.
This is an honest conversation with me and God. This is hey, I'm hurt by these things that have happened.
Right.
I don't know what to do. I want to believe in you, but I don't know if I can right now because I'm not seeing no signs as to why I should.
Yes.
And it was birthed out of all of that and all of those feelings. And I was not ready to release that song either, Lisa.
Oh, wow. Really?
I got a grant and the grant had a deadline.
Oh,
so
wow.
the song, by the time I got the grant, I wanted to do the video for it. The song I had recorded. So I ended up finding these musicians at a jam session. And the first time I ever played it live, I was like, okay, I'm going to sit down at the keyboard. Keyboardists, they love to get up. If somebody else comes to play keys, they're like, please come play keys.
Yes.
So I sat down and I started playing. And these guys just took this song to the next level. Never heard it before. You know how it is at jam sessions.
Oh, yes.
For a jam session, everything is freestyle. No one has practiced this with each other. This is, in some cases, they've never met.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a spirit move. It's a move of the spirit.
Right. And it has to be egoless for it to actually be good.
Right.
And so these musicians, and this place that I would go to, it is called Groove Lounge, and
Okay.
it's in Manhattan. And Groove Lounge, this particular jam, one of my friends was telling me that when Prince was in town, he would go and jam at this jam. So this was like a legendary jam with really excellent musicians. But the beautiful part about it is the woman who runs it, her name is Cheryl Pepsi Riley, I think.
Oh, I love her.
Yeah, she is the host of the jam.
Oh my
She,
God.
she's the host of the jam, and her whole thing is trust your gift. So it like anybody who went up there, it was like they were welcomed, whether you were the greatest singer of all time
Wow.
or if you just started singing yesterday. It was all about trusting your gift and people just loving on you and going with it, you know? And so I end up doing my song. They joined in, and it was the most beautiful thing I'd ever heard. And I was like, how did this happen? I was like, this is crazy. I could have never imagined that this song could sound like this. So I followed them all on Instagram. And then I was so scared to ask them to even do the song. So I reached out to all of them and I was like, hey, would y'all want to actually record this song with me? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, and they're like, you want it? Like, they were like ready to do it that week. And I was like, no, give me some time. So I
Right.
was like overwhelmed by the fact that they said yes because they are so talented. And so they said yes. I was like, okay, let's get a rehearsal in. And so I took the recording from that day and I sent them that recording. And then we actually practiced how we wanted things to go. And we went over it for maybe like 2 hours, I think we were together. And
Wow.
the next time we got together, we actually recorded this song.
Wow.
And so everything that we recorded the first session, there are 3 things that I had to redo. I redid my vocals because I had to get way stronger vocals to sing this song, how to even sing it, which was another reason I was scared to put it out. We redid the drums because we needed to do drums in a different studio so that it could just be crispier and like crunchier and just like stand out more.
Mhm.
And then my cousin, David Demon Mumford, he did the organ.
Mm.
He did the organ.
And the organ, woo, that thing spoke to me, honey. I heard the organ. I said, oh, let me rewind that. I got to hear that again.
Yes.
Oh, yes, it is. It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Every time I hear that part, I'm like,
I want more of it.
I'm like about to break down every time he plays that because he played from his heart when he played that.
Oh, you can tell.
He played from his heart, and it was so beautiful. And my aunt that I lost, that I mentioned in the song, that's his mom.
Oh, wow.
So for the longest, I didn't even want to ask him.
Oh my God.
Because I was like, I don't want to bring up these feelings for you, because the whole time I'm recording the song, the whole time I'm doing the video, the whole time I'm working on the song, I'm reliving that. So I'm like, I got to ask. Now I'm asking him to do the same thing, right? And so I just was like, but I got to do it. And I just felt like it was like, I have to ask. I can't have anybody else on this song about the person that we love. It's got to be my cousin.
Yes.
I asked them and he was like, I got you, cuz. I was like, because I need it by this time. Can you have it by this time? Because I'm about to get it mixed and mastered on this day. He was like, I got you. And he sent it over, and it was one of the best things that happened to the song.
Wow. And he came through. Let me acknowledge some of these comments because this one is very poignant. She says, the Hope Coach says 9 months, the timeline for new birth. And boy, that is so, so true.
Wow. Wow.
And
Ooh.
all of those things that you have been birthing have come from that painful period of 9 months. Crazy. And then she says, what a journey. Yes, you have definitely been on an incredible journey. And I can't wait to see what else you're going to do. But I want to before, because I have so much that I want to ask you. But before we go further, I do want to share maybe with the audience. I want them to see what I saw. And for those that are going to be listening on the podcast platforms, please, ma'am and sir, go to YouTube and check out Maybe. After you listen to it, you have to see it. It is a visual that you will never forget. So let's check it out. It's Maybe by Imani.
There was a time when I used to know your name, but in my heart I know I'll never be the same. Behind those eyes I see a field of tears. Behind those eyes I see a single tear. Maybe if I knew God was, I wouldn't have to feel so. Maybe if I knew God was, I wouldn't have to feel so assured. Maybe if I knew. Maybe if you knew who God was, it wouldn't be so cruel. They said maybe if you knew who God was, it wouldn't be so cruel. La da da dee da da da, la da da dee da da da. Tones for you. You took my grandma, took my Grammy, broke my heart, took my auntie too. Hey, la da da dee da da da, la da da dee wasn't enough for you. They said maybe if you knew who God was, He wouldn't be so cruel. They said maybe if you know who God was. They said maybe.
Wow, 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 wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that is so amazing. Every time I watch it, it's like the first time watching it. So I want to say to the people we had to play it from YouTube. So it was a little laggy in spots. Go ahead and watch it yourself. And you'll get the full effect.
Yeah.
But yes, those organs get me every time. Now, who's on the guitar too? Because the guitar,
Okay, his name is Artie White. Okay. Artie is the man. Okay. He's like, he's played backup for like Alicia Keys and like DMX and like, and I didn't know. That's what I'm saying. Like the New York musicians, they're so humble. Like it's like it takes for me to like go and like look on their Instagram and see like them posting like a Throwback Thursday or something, where I'm just like,
yes.
and he, I mean, that was the second take. Him doing that solo was just the second take. So we
Wow.
get there, we do the first take because I like to be organic in the studio. So it's like we practice, but then once we get there, my thing is this is how I'm feeling, but also like whatever your interpretation of whatever I'm feeling is, do that. Like do
Yeah.
what you do. I'm
Yeah.
like get out the way. Like I
Yeah.
got enough sense to get out the way. So he played, and I could tell he was. I feel like kind of holding back a little bit because sometimes singers don't let like musicians get theirs.
Right.
I'm like
Right.
it's yours, like, and so I was like, no, just let go. Do you know, let go. And he did that on a second take, and it was just like
Wow.
insane. Already,
Wow. What a gift to that song. The Hope Coach says, absolutely. Asking is essential. I asked my natural father and learned it's okay to ask God, my spiritual father.
yeah,
Absolutely. So
that
this project was certainly like it was a spirit filled project, you know. And I think what I learned throughout my journey, my spiritual journey especially, is that spirit does not just exist in religious settings, and a lot of times spirit don't exist in religious settings at all. I mean,
is that right.
yes. So I think people miss out on so many experiences because they're not just allowing themselves to feel,
Yeah.
just feel. So I could see that you did that in that song. Your vocals were just out of sight, like
Thank you.
amazing. And in order to get that type of sound, I feel like you have to just let go.
You do. You have you the great. So here's another thing about this. This made me this song and this experience, this video. It just made me face a lot of grief. Some of those vocals on that song were like a day after me finding out that my player friend who's on the song, who also helped engineer the other parts of the song that we didn't re-record, I found out he passed like 2 days before
Oh my
I
God.
did some of the vocals that are on there now. And,
Wow.
and like I'm like on my way there, I get held up some type of way. I'm like behind. I'm frustrated. I'm never late to the studio, and then and I want to do this for him now, right? Because I
Yeah.
do it for myself, but then also I'm like he believed in the song so much, and he like was so excited about it. And it's like when you have somebody that's working with you that's excited, just as excited as you, and like are like loving it just as much as you. I was like, I gotta do this right for him. Like I gotta
Yes.
right for him. So I went and I did my vocals. So some of those vocals are from that session. I think the hook vocals I think are from the session where I found out about him passing. And no, I think it was the day before. It was the day before
Wow.
for that session. And I was like, I gotta do this. I gotta do this for Trev. Yep.
Wow.
Trevor
Wow.
Alex playing bass on there. Yep.
Wow. So who came up with the concept of the visual? I mean, because it's stunning. It is visually stunning. And you brought it. You brought it from the the styling to the movement to the, I mean, just everything. You really brought it. So who
Thank
was
you.
behind the concept and the, direction of this?
So I came up with the concept. And in terms of this, I styled myself too because it sounds like, to me, when I would listen to the song, it sounded like it was from the past a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And so I kind of wanted my look to be like 1950s. So you see, like the way my dress is shaped, and I have like a petticoat under my dress, and then I have this hat. I kind of I wanted to look like I was coming from a funeral, and I
Mm-hmm.
wanted this kind of exaggerated kind of look. But then also like a lot of the different concepts. So I'll point out a few things, like me running in the cemetery is like I always felt like I was running from death after that happened.
Mm.
I
Oh
thought
wow.
somebody was going to call me and be like, somebody call you too late, or somebody call you back to back a couple of times, and you like, oh Lord, you like somebody about,
Right.
give me some bad news again. And I just felt like I was running from death. I felt like it was coming for me next, and that's kind of what that running through the cemetery represented. And then there's the animal symbolism in the video as well. So there's the black cat. So me and the black cat, you hear black cats are bad luck. You hear all this stuff about black cats. And so I was like, I felt like I was the black cat of the situation.
Oh
I was,
wow.
this is happening because, it's me. Maybe people need to get away from me because I must be the bad luck of the situation because things ain't happening right around the people I know. And
Wow.
so it's like me feeling cursed, is kind of what that representation of this me and this cat or, kind of going through. Then there's the butterfly. Now, butterflies, during my transformation around the time that we met and all this stuff, butterflies were heavy in my life. Now, one of my grandmothers, my dad's side, Grandma Mildred, she loved butterflies. Thank you, the Hope Coach. Thank you so much. She loved butterflies, but butterflies also represent creativity. They also represent transformation. They also
Mhm.
represent rebirth and all these things.
Yes.
So every
Yes.
time I see a butterfly, I think about my grandmother. And then I also think about all the things that this butterfly represents. So when I'm at the gravesite in the beginning, there's the butterfly that lands on that angel that's down like this. And in the end, I'm asking for those signs. I'm like, God, I need something. I need a sign again. And then the butterfly lands on my hand in the church. And that's like
Yeah.
that glimmer of hope that I needed. And
Yeah.
so, although I questioned my whole relationship with God, and at a point in time, I stopped believing in God, and I would get disgusted by the thought of praying or anything. I was just so done. I still had to go through all that to come around to the idea again. But I had to go through that journey. And now nobody can tell me God's not real. But I
Yes.
had that experience and I had to question it.
Woo, I can relate. Oh my God, can I relate? Um, so I have so many things, but the one thing I cannot not mention is your grandmother's voice. In the beginning of Rolling, and for the people that are listening and watching, please go to YouTube and search Imani Rolling because it is another beautiful visual, another beautiful song. Um, your grandmother's praying.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is like, oh my God, it is so amazing. It sent chills through my. Now, I've only heard that on another artist. Chance the Rapper has a song where his grandmother's praying. And because my grandmother died when I was so young, I never really heard her pray like that, but the voice sounds the same. I often go to that Chance the Rapper song and listen just the prayer, because I feel like that's my grandmother. And so when I heard it on the beginning of your song, I did the same thing. Let me just listen to the prayer. It did something for me at the beginning and the end. So was that just like, how did that come about that you put that into the song?
You know what's so crazy? So, yes, they are. Thank you for saying
Wow.
that.
Yes.
Um, so the prayer. I had Roland. I actually wrote Roland in 2015 or 16. I can't remember at this point. I wrote it. I had the demo for it. I always knew that this song would be dope. And I recorded it. And the first time I recorded it was going good, but then it fell apart. I had to try to re-record it again. That didn't work. And I was like, I will hold this song until it is recorded and recorded right. I was that determined. So I had probably I wrote it and did the first demo in 2016. I didn't release it until 2020 because that's how determined I was to get it right. And so I was talking to my grandmother about the song that had already been demoed, and I was like, Grammy, I was like, can you pray with me? I was like, I need to find the right engineer for this song. I need this and that. I said, because this song, what I'm trying to do with it is I'm trying to speak to the song, and with the idea that I have for the visuals, like I want to speak to addiction. I want to speak to the pain that people feel that kind of like drives them to that. And I want to give people hope, or whatever the case may be. And then my grandmother always knew I was an artist, but I don't think she ever knew why my heart was in it like that, because I never expressed that to her before. I never expressed to her that me wanting to be an artist was about me wanting to help people. And she said, that's the right desire to have. That's why she says that in the beginning.
Okay.
Because I want to help people. This is why this song is about this and that. Can you help me? I need prayer. And then she starts praying.
Wow. And it is a blessing. It is a blessing. Thank you for including that. Thank you for sharing her with us, because like I said, on that Chance the Rapper song, I wish I knew the name so I could refer it to everybody. If you don't have a grandmother, go listen to that song, and also go listen to Rolling by Imani. It will fill you. It will soothe you. That voice, that feeling of a grandmother, that anointing, that power that you hear in that voice is unmatched. And I mean, it's really, really powerful.
Yeah, my grandmother she was a prayer warrior. It's crazy that by the time I put Rolling out, she had already passed. She had been gone for she passed November 2017. I didn't put Rolling out until January 2020. I didn't do the video until October 2020.
Wow.
So she had already passed, and it was like, this is happening after that. So I'm kind of like listening to the vocals. Yeah, yes, Artie is. We're talking about, for the people who are just listening, we're talking about Artie for a second. She said, yes, Artie had me throwing stuff. That's my guitar player. Yeah, he had me throwing stuff too.
Yes, Lord.
But so all that to say, it was all like very full circle. But the thing is, when we were at my grandmother's funeral, I thought that I was just calling my grandmother for prayer. She never actually told us, if you need prayer, call me. It was just understood. And I didn't realize that until people were getting up and they were talking about my grandmother being a prayer warrior.
Wow.
That's always just kind of new, and if something was going on with my friends, like I'm talking about when it was down to the wire and we talking like life or death, I'm like calling her, like, Grammy, I need you to pray for this person. This thing is going on, and I knew that if I went to her and she went to God, that it was going to get sorted out. And so that's the kind of woman she is. And she would write people's names down on her little list, and people would ask for prayer. And my grandmother, I believe that my grandmother made a promise to God. I don't know exactly what it was, but I believe that she made a promise to God, because every, I think it was like 4:00 in the morning, it was when she would get up, and she would brew her little coffee, and she would sit down with her Bible at the kitchen table, and she would be in prayer. And she did this every day.
Wow.
And I'm like, she had to make some sort of covenant or something with God, because it was so deliberate.
Wow.
It was so deliberate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
such an intentional
yes.
commitment. Yeah.
Yes. To get up at that time every morning because I would have to go to the bathroom, and that's how I would see her because I go to the bathroom in the middle of the night. And she was always doing that from the
Wow.
time that I was like, a kid to the time where I moved back in with her when I became like, I think I was maybe like 19, 20 or something. I had moved back in with her and she was doing that. And that's when I remembered, oh, this is the thing that she's always been doing. And so that's the kind of woman that's praying on that song.
Wow. And
You
it shows. I mean, I can hear it. I don't know if other people can.
they
And
can't.
that's why I took the liberty to include an intro because it blessed me. I wanted as many people to hear it because I wanted them to feel that same blessing.
Yeah.
It is a power that you just don't hear or see as much anymore. And so
Yeah.
thank you so much for sharing that with us because it blessed my soul. I mean, for real.
Thank
For
you.
real.
Thank you. And she would love that. She would love that. And that's what makes me so happy about it because it's like I can't go to her now and be like, Grammy, pray for so and so. But people can hear this song, and that was my intention that I help that other people would hear it and know that she was praying for me, but it's not just for me. It's for whoever is hearing that prayer at that time. That prayer is for you too, because that's how she would want it to be. She would
Yes.
be praying for you if you needed something and you asked her.
Yes.
She would 1,000% be doing that.
Yes. And we know words have power. And so, I feel that the words have power no matter when you hear them, no matter when they're spoken, they still have power. So again, thank you for that. So I want to just share this with the audience. Please go check out Roland because it is another well thought out visual. I mean, you just don't get these anymore. People just be styling and profiling in their visuals. They don't
Mhm.
really tell a story and they don't really have a theme. So it seems, and I know this may not be the case, but it seems like it's easy for you to do that, to
I
actually have a theme and tell a story.
It is. I will say, um, I would say acting comes easier to me than music because I'm a like actor first, and I have
Wow.
to like, work really hard to actually be a good musician. And I always wanted to tell stories, and so I think with actually. I always wanted to be a musician, but I didn't think I could be. I didn't think I had the skill, and then I had to do all this work to actually build the skill up. But I always wanted to tell stories. I love telling stories. And so I'm like, oh, my music videos, that's where I get to tell these stories. That's where I get
Yes.
to act again. That's my first love, acting. And so it gives me the opportunity to do all that I actually am as opposed to just sticking to this one thing. So the storytelling comes easy to me only because when I'm making a song, I know what song needs a video based on if visually I start seeing something. That's how my
Hmm.
needs a video because I'm seeing all this stuff. So I got to make this video now because it's in my head and I got to get it out of my head. And so that's how I decide that it should be. Yeah.
Wow, wow. Well, you definitely have a future in that. I can see you doing that for other artists because it doesn't come that easily or naturally to everybody. And I mean, it definitely, you've got it. You definitely got it. So if you're just tuning in, we're talking to Imani. You guys, please visit her website. I think I have it in the banners, but also follow her on Instagram. I'm going to put her Instagram on the screen. Support her music, support everything that she's doing. And if you are a spirit filled person, you happen to be listening, lift her up in prayer. Continue to lift her up because she is one of the greats. And remember that I said this. Yeah, I'm going to be pointing back to this date saying, I called it. Okay. She is one of the greats. And I really feel like, unfortunately, our prayer warriors have gone on. And now we have to pick up that mantle. Because when I look at our greats like Whitney Houston, like Prince, that had that spirit, I felt
Yeah.
like we could have done a better job of covering them in prayer and keeping them lifted because it is a great burden to share that much with the world.
Yeah.
And I see you in that same vein. So we have to really If you are a person that is a prayer warrior, please, keep her lifted. If she crosses your mind, please say a prayer and just, an affirmation. I don't know. Just go to her page and like everything. I don't know what I'm just I'm just saying, let's protect our the great spirits and the great artists that are in our community as Black people. So, anything
Thank you.
else you want to say to our audience before we wrap it?
Yeah, I do want to share this with other artists. One of my voice teachers taught me this recently. When it comes to going out and singing, you know how we have to give so much of ourselves. And she was saying, when you go out, when you have to practice how you're going to go out and sing. So, and I'm saying this to say this: when you go out to sing, you're opening yourself up to pretty much everything. You're opening yourself up spiritually. You're
Yes.
opening yourself up, right?
Yes.
And she was like, when you're done, you have to close yourself off. And if
Oh,
you
wow.
practice like that, that's the key. And I'd be forgetting to close myself off, which is probably why I feel drained after some of these things. But I think that it's important for all artists to know when it's time to be open and allow that, and when it's time to close it off, so you can protect yourself when it's all said and done. And so
That's
I think
big.
everybody should know that.
Yeah, that's big. And that's the first time I'd ever heard that. And that's part of the reason why I don't perform like I used to, because I did feel drained and I felt attacked and I felt unsafe. And I just was like, I don't know why I'm getting these feelings, but I'm good. I'm not going to do this no more. So that explains it.
Yeah, got to close yourself off to that, because you're opening yourself up so much to give all of this to people and also receive a lot,
Yes.
because whatever they're going through too, right? All this energy starts getting exchanged in the room.
Yes.
Energy being exchanged and stirred up, and you're a healer, so you're in the midst of it. But then we also have to remember to close it off, give it to God, and let Him do the rest. We're
Right.
help facilitate a little bit, but it ain't our job to take on everybody's stuff.
Say that.
If we remember that, we'll be okay.
Ooh, yes, Lord. That's a hard lesson, because when you feel all the pain and the burdens of the people, you just feel like, oh my God, I want to help everybody. But you're right, it's not our job to do all that. Just do your part.
Right.
But it's been a pleasure having you on the show. I cannot encourage you guys enough to check out her music. And so, what's next for you?
Oh, for me, okay. So I'm so excited. I am working on a new video, which I will be shooting in 2 weeks. It's
Okay.
called Hello, and it is such a fun song. It's such a cute song. It's such a warm, just like refreshing kind of energy. I wrote this song about my crush. I was crushing on my crush really, really hard. And it came out of that spirit of just like, do they like me? I hope they like me because I like them. And I haven't told them yet, but I'm really into it, you know. And it's my first song that I've made that is a joyful song. And it's kind of changed my experience with music a little bit, because a lot of my music has been therapy, and it's been healing in that way. And now I'm seeing how joy is also something that can be very
Wow.
infectious and healing. And
Yeah.
so I'm enjoying being able to share that, because I've been performing it out live, and just the exchange that I'm having with people while performing this song has been so beautiful. So I'm doing that. It's a 90s themed video. So
Oh,
I'm excited. It's going to be full of so much nostalgia. I grew up in the 90s, so I'm glad to like bring this kind of like nostalgia back to it and this fun energy. So that is what I am working on next. So y'all make sure that's going to drop in May. I don't have a date for it yet. I'm hoping by my birthday, May 28th. Shout out to all the Geminis.
okay.
But as y'all can see my name on the screen, IMANI.music for Instagram, there's going to be a V instead of an A. I'm doing a rebrand right now because there's a lot of Imanis out there, and I don't want people to think that their music is mine.
I feel you on that.
Doing a rebrand. And so how you see my name on my website and how you see my name on my Instagram is how you can find me. It's going to be Imani with a V instead of an A. And thank you for having me on the show.
Thank you.
Full circling our experience.
Yes, thank you so much. And I've seen some of the clips of the song Hello, and it does have that good, feel good energy. It just makes you feel good. So I can't wait to see the video. I mean, if
Yes.
it's anything like your others, I know it's going to be amazing.
Yes.
I just want to say this before we leave. Thanks to everyone who tuned in. I don't know what else to say, but please go and support her music. But I will say this. I have held back so much musically because I don't know, for several reasons. But watching your visuals and listening to you, it's helping me. It's really helping me. And I'm digging deeper and deeper and deeper. And I'm like, okay, you can do this because you have to do it. It's one of those things where you just don't get no peace until you do it. And that's where I've been.
Yeah. And do it. Because just like how I was scared to put out maybe and I wasn't ready to put out maybe and how it has been a help to you, even that really deep personal stuff that you're not ready to really express yet, I'm telling you, when you start working through that thing and you start sharing it with other people and you see how that really deep, personal, painful stuff can help somebody else, it's like, okay, God, I understand now.
Yes.
I get it. I get it. And it's just something to know that you've helped somebody through your pain and that there's other people who feel like you and they feel comforted too to know
Yeah.
that somebody else feels like them. So please share it because people need it. Because guess what? Like you said, oh, you're not gonna be able to sleep.
Right. Right. I haven't had any peace. I haven't had any peace for the last 15 years. And the thing is, I thought after I was working on this show and, just continually listening to all your music, I remembered a song that I wrote 30 years ago. 30 years ago. And I didn't want to release it because it's a gospel song. And I was like, I don't want to do gospel because I want to wear makeup and mini skirts. And I don't want nobody to tell me what I can do. So I was like, okay, I feel at this point in my life, I can release this song regardless, whether
Yes.
I'm a gospel artist or not, because this song came from my heart. It came from my
Yes.
being. It came from a really true place. So I want to thank you for being an inspiration to me. You have really inspired me to embrace my own queendom. It's those ugly and those dark places that is hard to accept and hard to embrace. But there's so much beauty that comes out of that ugliness. And so I just want to, I don't know, thank you. I just want to thank you because I have really been able to see myself embracing that.
Thank you. That
And
is the
you've done that for me. So I appreciate you.
thank you. That is the highest compliment you could give me because literally, I feel like my whole life's mission is just for other people to feel like they can as well. Because I have so many times felt like I could not. And I know there's so many people that feel that same way. But the reality is that is the biggest, falsest lie ever.
Yeah.
And anything that you want to do, if it's in your heart, I'm telling you, God put it there for a reason. You can't sleep until it's done. And it's going to help and heal so many people. It's so many people that need what you have inside of you. Just like I'm telling you, I can't do this if you didn't help me the way that you did in Houston. If you didn't give me that love, every time you come down my timeline, I remember that. Every
Oh,
time I see you, I remember that. Having someone love on you in that way and do is why I can do this. And now because I'm doing this, now you feel more empowered to do what you're doing, and that's just going to keep happening. Because then you're
yeah.
going to doing more of what you're doing, and more people start to feel empowered and feel more empowered. And even this conversation is so empowering. And so
Yeah.
I just want to say thank you again for being who you are. Like, just thank you for being who you are. You're a lovely person. You're a beautiful person. you have so much in you, and I can't wait to see what else you do.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. And you guys, thank you for tuning in. This has been like a love fest. And I apologize in advance. But I am such a fan of her. And I know that you guys after this will, if you haven't never heard her music, will be a fan of her as well. So please share, 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 and send us some feedback. If you're listening to this on a replay, please put in the comments and your feedback, and I will definitely go and look and respond to you. So thanks once again, Imani, for being here.
Thank you.
I love you. I'm so proud
Thank
of
you.
you, and I can't wait to see what's next for you.
Thank you.
So, you guys, thank you so much. That's it for me. Thank you for tuning in, and I will see you next week. Bye.